I'd like to welcome Jade. She's a visitor a couple of days. She lives in Phoenix, but maybe she won't live in Phoenix forever. Okay, I get half an hour just to talk about anything I want. So I guess the most important thing we should be doing is learning how to use Gopher. Okay, so we're lucky we have, I don't know, we have, how many books, Phil, in the database? 15,000?
Now there's 15,035, I think.
Okay, 15,035 books in the database, of which 5,000 are from India, I think. So I thought, I know most of you know about the database, but those of you who don't, it's time to learn about it. It's what makes our work the most accurate in the world, in my opinion. Nobody else is using it much. Nobody else knows much about it. Maybe we can teach people about it. But we have access, instantaneous access to 15,000 books in the database. How many in the uncatalogued? About 1 million.
It's probably still loading.
A lot that we haven't cataloged yet because we didn't have time. And again, I'd like to thank Dr. Wu for funding that. The only reason we can do this work is because of him. And I don't know where you came from, but I don't think it's China. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about how I use it. I use it when I'm working on a translation. I use it about 100 times a day. And it's just unbelievable. It's just so wonderful. And all your work will be very, very accurate. And I'll try to show you ways to use it that maybe you didn't think of. So anyway, here's what mine looks like. I have the Kangir here. Okay, Kangir, Ka means word of the Buddha. Gir means translated from Sanskrit into Tibetan language. And in East Tibet, they say Kanjur. Because they talk like that, okay? Understand? They don't talk exactly right. Okay, so don't say Kanjur. Here are the traditional 12 categories of the Kangir. Okay, we'll stretch it out. So actually, Venerable Jigme is working on the Kangir, and she's, I'll show you what she's doing with it. But I'd like to thank Jigme. So, these are the traditional divisions of the Kangir that were, invented by around just before the time of Tsongkhapa by a lama named Bhutan Rinpoche. So here's Vinaya. So as you can see, we put the Tibetan, then we put the English, then we put the pronunciation of the Sanskrit, not the correct spelling, okay? Just what it sounds like. Because most people who work with Tibetan don't speak Sanskrit very well. So if they're going to look for something, they're probably going to look for what the sound is. They don't know this is a long A, this is short A. They don't know the difference between Sha and Sha. So for simplicity, we do it this way. I don't know if you guys can appreciate it, but so far the data is hard-coded. It means we use the operating system of all computers to store the data. We don't so far. So Phil's working on another approach, which is a relational database. And then, you can say, show me all the books by Tsongkhapa that he wrote before he was 40. And he's working on that, and he'll be done in about 2050. But in the meantime, instead of hiring a database programmer, we're using the structure of all computers. And this is for future proofing. So the idea is that it won't get old. All computers use this. Macs, PCs, Linux, everybody uses this basic structure. So we built it We built the database into the basic structure of all computers. So it doesn't matter what computer you're using. And there's no program except for the operating system of the computer. You see what I mean? So it won't get old. Like the Tibetan that was used for the ACI courses 20 years ago is gone. So he had to work with our team in India to type it in again. Because those letters are obsolete. The program went out of business. Okay, so before Unicode. So we had to retype everything, and it was a big mess. So we're trying to do something that won't change for 50 years or 100 years. Computers tend to change very quickly. Apple changed my cord again. No, I have in my bag. I have, where is that? I don't even know where it is. I have about 30 Apple cords in my bag. These are just to make things work with the old ones, and that's every year. Okay, and we're trying to build something that'll last for hundreds of years. So anyway, we just code it right into the structure. So you'll appreciate that. It means if something happens to us, this will still be useful in 50 years or 100 years. People can still use it, okay? So then there's perfection of wisdom in 100,000 lines. Perfection of wisdom in 25,000 lines, which in Tibetan ban is trick question.
Same.
No.
25?
Oh.
25 is 20.
What's this say? Niti. Niti means 20,000. The book is 25,000. Only smart people know. Okay? The name of the book is 20,000, but there's 25,000 lines. Okay. This is probably the most famous, 8,000 lines. We should translate this someday. These are not philosophy books like Betts is translating this morning. These are science fiction books. They are unbelievable. They are so cool. And like in this one, there's this young guy and he hears a voice in the sky. It says, walk to the east, you will find your teacher. And he starts walking and all this stuff happens to him, just like a novel, just like a science fiction novel, okay? Then there's the 18,000 lines, which is not very well known. Then there's the 10,000 lines. So these are all about emptiness, okay? All of these. Then there's other teachings, shorter teachings on the perfection of wisdom, such as Heart Sutra, Diamond Cutter Sutra, okay? And if you want to see them, you click on there. And it's only one volume out of how many? 100, okay? The Kangya is 100 volumes, the Tengya is 210, okay? Tengya means commentaries from India, before Tibet, okay? Well, a few of them cross over at the end, Atisha. And here's all the books these are the short books on emptiness, okay? And we use, the catalog number we use, this number here, comes from a catalog that was made, as I said, made in Japan in the 1930s. And they were the first people to put a really good number system on the Kangya. So we use their system for Kangya and Tengya. And they just numbered them from 1 to, 5,000, okay? Here's what's this one here? Yeah, that's the Diamond Cutter Sutra. Okay, what's this one? Oh no, that's not it. Anyway, you can see, what's this one here? Yeah, this is the Heart Sutra. So you can expand this out. How do I do that? Do I have to go up here? Let me see. Try this. There we go. So what Jigme's doing for the last, how many years? How many years have you been working on this?
Well, I mean, we only do it like once a week.
Wait, don't tell everybody that.
You knew she was going to lowball you. I'm like, I can't believe he's going to let her say.
4 or 5 years, okay? So she's actually creating the English translations. And from that, Stanley, Xiaoping, we're hoping, do the Spanish, start Chinese.
Start shopping.
Buena suerte.
Look on your face, Allison.
But it takes a long time, okay? It takes a long time too, because a lot of the names are strange. And we've been fixing the names that people gave them, like Ganda Vyuha, which is very famous, which is up here somewhere. People have translated as Vyuha means, Ganda Vyuha means stocks in arrangement. And then, so what Jigme and I do at Cricket's coffee shop, you know, we have a table there, they give us like 5 hours. Before we had the college, before Mr. Wu built the college, we worked in the coffee shop. And they have a special table for us, and we work for like 5 hours every morning. And we have to go into the book, we have to read the book. And it turns out that, so I always thought that one was stalks of wheat or something in arrangement. It's a magic house surrounded by jewel trees made of ruby, sapphire, emerald. You know, it's the house surrounded by the magic trees. It's not pieces of wheat, you know, but everybody in the West countries calls it pieces of wheat or something like that. But so you have to go into the book and you have to read it, and it's very difficult. So it's been taking many years to give them their correct names, okay? And you can see some of them. And then we have to check the Sanskrit and we have to fix the Sanskrit, because how often does it wrong in the Tibetan? I don't know.
Maybe 1 out of 10.
No, I'd say 1 out of 2.
Well, it depends on how wrong it is.
It's wrong in about
It's always
1 out.
wrong in some
1 out of 3 is mistaken. Something's mistaken. So we use that. Metta means there's a limitation. If you can see here, there's a limitation to, if you hard code it, you have the 256 letter limitation on the name of a file or the name of a folder. So sometimes the name is longer than that. So we put plus, and it means go to here. And we call meta file. And in there you'll see the, well,
And double click it and open it.
you see the rest of it.
You have to click off to the
Click
side.
escape.
You can't
Yeah,
click on
there,
it.
oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's the rest of it, okay? So the name's too long for the folder or the file, okay? That's the one problem with our system, but supposed to be, because we always code it the same way, that Phil's program will be able to read it. So Phil's program will be able to go to the meta, okay? So again, what Phil's working on is a database that you can ask questions, and that's important. Eventually, you can say, did Tsongkhapa use this word before he was 30? You know, or when did he change and start using this other word? You know, or is this word only used by people from Labrang Monastery, or do people from Sera use this word also? And you'll be able to ask those questions when he's done in 100 years or so. So that's the Kangyur. And I suggest, I just keep it in a thing called A, because I don't have to type a lot to get to it. I just type A, and I'm into the scriptures. Then there's how are we doing on time?
You have 15 minutes.
Okay. Then there's the Tengyur. I have what I call Tengyur before Phil, because this means one of somebody who worked for us before took all the Tengyur and mushed it up. They took out the line breaks, and so I'm trying to fix it. He's gonna fix it. But these are the traditional. Oh, by the way, let me say one more thing about the Kangyur. I said 12 categories, right? The 13th category is always one more volume, which is the traditional catalog made by the ancient Tibetans. You know, so we use it sometimes. For example, I'll show you something cool, Mr. Wu, Dr. Wu. Let's see. And you will like this. I'm going to ask the database. You see, most of the books in the Kangyur were translated from
Pali or Sanskrit.
Sanskrit, from India. But some books by that time were gone. in Sanskrit. So the Tibetans went to China, and they got the Chinese copies, and they translate from the Chinese. So this would be very interesting for our project. Okay, so I want to show you. We can go to the Kangyur. Sorry. We'll go to the Kangyur. We'll go to the native catalog. Okay, here. And open means that's where I want to search. And I'll teach you guys this later. Let's see how many books came from Chinese. How many were translated from Chinese? Okay, and those might be more interesting to work on for some of you guys. See, Gyanaki Bei means what? Becha. We used the Chinese translation, and we translate. We couldn't find a Sanskrit, and there are 11 books. Down here you can see 11, or it's mentioned 11 times that they used the Chinese edition. Okay, so what's that?
Do they use both sometimes across?
Yeah, sometimes they use both, but mostly they'll use a Chinese edition when they can't find. And some of the most important books came from China. Okay, Chinese language. Okay. Okay, so that's Kangyur. Where are we? This is you guys. And let's go to Sumbum. Tengyur. And there are these categories. Now, Nicole Vigna's working on the Tengyur. It's 4 times longer than the Kangyur. And it's much slower. We've been going much slower because I'm traveling. I don't have time to work with her. So you won't see as much progress on this one. We're still in the first. With Jigme, we're up to here. The dollar signs means we're up to here. Okay, we're up to the sutras. Okay, so in the Kangyur there's a section called Koinsek. These are like all kinds of sutras mushed together. It's called Pile of Jewels, Ratnakuta, and for example, the very important sutra on the 10 bodhisattva levels comes from there, but it's inside the Koinsek. So we're breaking it out so that you can work on it separately. Same with Avatansaka. These are 6 volumes of sutras. Why they're called majority, we figured it out. It took us a whole day, I think. Avatansaka. Don't ask me, I don't remember. Now these are just the regular sutras, like all the common sutras that are not perfection of wisdom.
Lotus Sutra.
Yeah, like Lotus. There's 2 or 3 Lotus sutras, and like that. And the dollar sign means we're up to volume 26. And we've gotten. You can see where we stop right here. Okay, so we've done 320 sutras out of 990. We're after 4 or 5 years, we're 1/3 finished. Okay, but it's very exciting work because we get to decide what this book's going to be called for 1,000 years or something. So it's very sexy. But we don't have time to. I haven't worked much on the Tengyur. And the problem is you have to be able to read the book to give it a good name. And you have to be able to read it quickly. So these are, so the categories, what did we finish? Yeah. This is a single sutra, I believe, that was spoken by Lord Buddha as he passed away. So it's called the Nirvana Sutra, the Great Nirvana Sutra or something like that. When you go to Don Huang and you see the Buddha laying down, that's, these are Tantra. There are 21 volumes. By title, Tantra is half of the half of Buddhism. Mm-hmm. So when people say Tantra is not correct or something, they don't know anything. Okay, half of what the Buddha taught by teaching is Tantra. Okay. So that's the Kangyur. We can go to the Tengyur. Tutsok means what?
Collection of praises.
Yes, tava or songs. Oh, Buddha, you're so cool. I love you. Usually they're poetry, and they're very beautiful, and they're short. Then Tantra. Look at the Tantra in the Tengyur. Okay, tell me Tantra is not correct. 80 volumes. There's 210 volumes in the Tengyur. These are commentaries from India. 80 of them are Tantra. Okay, so it's cool. It's for real. And each volume has this many books. These are separate books. Okay, so multiply this times 80. Okay, that's cool. That's a big job. This is how many tantras we have to translate. 80 times this. Okay. Okay. No cell phones. No cell phones. Okay. In this class, Sheichin means perfection of wisdom. Okay. Commentaries on the perfection of wisdom. Here you get commentaries. Where will Kamala Shila be in here? Okay, his commentary on the Dhammapada Sutra. This is Madhyamika. This is kind of thin, and these are commentaries on sutras. And in Tibet, they didn't make a lot of commentary. To find a commentary on the Heart Sutra and the Dhammapada Sutra, we only found one for Dhammapada Sutra, out of 200,000 books. There's not a lot of. I don't know why people. They like the meaning and not the wording. This is mind-only school, a very rich place to go to. After a word learns the meaning, you can go back to the Tengyur. Okay, and I want to tell you something about translating. You cannot understand the Kangyur without the Tengyur. It's not possible. I don't care who you are. You know, I spent my whole life studying, every day, many hours, Geshe course. You cannot read the Kangyur without the Tengyur. It's not possible. And you cannot read the Tengyur without the Sumbul. Okay? Without the Tibetan commentaries or the Chinese commentaries, it's not possible to correctly read the books from India. It's just not possible. I don't care who says what. You can't. So in this team, we're going backwards. You know, he's starting with a commentary by Tsongkhapa. And then he'll go to the Tengyur. Here's the mind only in the Tengyur. And then he'll go back to the Kangyur. Okay? But to go the other way is foolish. You just cannot do it. It's not possible. It's crazy. You can translate the words, but you won't get the meaning. You know. So there's a lot of projects that they start out with the Kangyur or Tengyur. It's just foolish. It's just wrong. They won't make a good translation. It's not possible. Okay, so we're going backwards. Buddhism is one of the few places in the world where it got more pure every year that went by, more understandable. You know, usually like in Christian books, it got more and more strange. You know, now it's very strange. But it got corruption from the early days. Jesus is very simple, very wise, 30 pages. Of his whole life is 30 pages of teaching. And now it's just very strange stuff you can listen to the radio on the way here from my house. And you say, where did that come from? You know, but in Buddhism, it got more and more pure as more time went by. So Tsongkhapa is a much better place to start to understand the mind-only school than to go to the Tengyur or the Kangyur, okay? You will learn it better. And if you go this way and you try it, then you read somebody's translation of Kangyur, I do this thing. I open it, I go, you know? The first sentence is wrong, and I go, you know? People give me books. You know, Geshe Michael would like to have a book, you know? And they give me, somebody gave me the Ten Rim Chemo. Recently, they say, my Lama found this book. I said, I found this book 30 years ago. And I printed it. He printed it from my brain. So, you know, You got to go backwards. Okay. Okay. Ngumba is what? Stanley. That's the nickname for Abhidharma. They just call Abhi. Okay. That's a nickname for. In the ancient times, they don't call Abhidharma. They say, "Hey, how's your Abhi? Are you studying Abhi?" Okay. What's this one, Xiaoping? What's this one? Misspelled, by the way, Nick.
What's that?
Misspelled.
Oh.
I don't know. Should I?
Oh, yeah.
Who owns it?
Nicole, but
Okay, do.
but I'll fix it on the one that's
Okay.
shared.
Kirab?
Janika.
Yeah, Janaka. Okay, Janaka tales. Janaka seems like stories. Just seems like stories about Buddha's life, past life. But if you want to know correlations, this is the best place to go. What's correlations?
The relationship you do this seed and
Yeah, do this karma and get this result. Okay, do this karma and get this result. And some of them are very weird. You can't guess that pollution is caused by you looked at somebody else's wife. Okay, no, it's true, but you could never guess it. Okay, like that. All right. Tingyi.
Pistols.
Epistle is an ancient English word. It's a religious word for letters that people wrote to each other. What's a book we talked about yesterday that would be in here?
Sort of like that.
free
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
principle.
Yeah, three principal paths. I mean,
Innocent.
it's a tingyi. Yeah, it's a modern tingyi. Okay. Okay, Adam, what's Sima?
Correct perception.
Yeah, this is the name for the Sautrantika school. They just call it pramana. You know, correct perception. Okay, they call the school pramana. Okay, so they say, "What are you studying nowadays?" You say, if they ask Adam, "What are you up to nowadays?" He says, "I'm doing Sima. I'm doing pramana." Okay, correct perception. Really, it's two different subjects. One is, how do you make an object out of pieces? You know, how do you make an object out of pieces? And their big thing is what we talked about yesterday, which is Rangsen and Chichen, which is what?
Chicha.
No, not quite. Close.
Archetypes and...
Yeah, archetype and
art.
so the mental picture of a cup and the cup outside. Okay, that's their big thing. Okay, how do you see things? But it also became formal logic. Formal logic means the forms of logic. Take an example, say something you want to prove about it, and then give a reason that the other guy accepts. That's logic. Take this cup. It came from the coffee shop down the street because we ordered it from there. Okay, so you don't know where it came from, but you know I ordered it. You agree that I ordered it. Third statement, you accept. First thing is my example. Take this cup. Consider this cup, right? In Tibetan, Chechen. Take this cup. Then you say something that the other guy doesn't believe yet. Second thing is what you're trying to prove. Dupcha. Dupcha chu. It came from down the street because I ordered it last week from there. You know I ordered it.
1 minute.
But I give you, what's that?
It's 1 minute till 7:30.
Okay, good. Dando.
Sound.
Dra means sound in Tibetan. The Sanskrit is
Shabda. Yeah.
Shabda.
Yeah.
Here's the mudra. And it means the study of Sanskrit. Sound means the study of Sanskrit. Holy sounds. Sounds that are inside your chakras. Okay. Mantras. Sanskrit language. Okay. These are impossible to read. Totally impossible. They are translations of impossible books. And the translations were crazy. It's not worth it to spend time on this, to be honest. Go get the grammar book by my teacher's teacher's teacher. Whitney's Grammar. I don't know if it's here.
It was.
Great grammar book. Greatest book ever written on Sanskrit. We had to memorize major parts of it. Sorikpa, we had yesterday.
Medicine?
Yeah, medicine. Okay, those would be very interesting to translate. Tibetan medicine is very interesting because it's halfway between Chinese and Indian. You see what I mean? So you've got Chinese medicine, you've got Indian medicine, and then geographically you have Tibet here, And it took from both sides. So their medicine is very interesting historically, because you get the best of Ayurveda and you get the best of Chinese traditional medicine. So very interesting books. And difficult to translate. Sorikpa.
Fine crafts.
Yeah, anything you can make, like paintings, statues, music, the fine arts. Okay, what we call the fine arts. Dance is in there. These are called Nidhi Shastra, Lukitensha. These are worldly books. How to run government. There's an interesting book. I think Kama Sutra's in there. I'm not sure. There's an interesting book about how to price gemstones. I was interested in that. Or very famous books about how to run government, economics. You know, when you're trying to sell this thing to a sponsor who's not Buddhist, you use this a lot. You say, look, it has ancient books about economy. And actually, it's only a tiny part of it. It's only one volume. Not so means we couldn't decide where to put it. Not so means miscellaneous. Where to put this book? I don't know. Just put it in the miscellaneous. Okay. And I don't know. So those are the 16 categories of the commentaries from ancient India, up to about 1000 AD. Okay, up to the time of. There are a few books in here about Atisha, who taught in Tibet. Okay.
Where does the structure come from?
I don't know. I think Bhutan Rinpoche probably put it together. Tsongkhapa reached Bhutan Rinpoche's monastery just after he died. And he sat down with the Kagyu and Tengyur and absorbed it. He could memorize 2 books a day or something. He's crazy. Crazy, yeah. And so somehow, when he was pretty young, he went to Bhutan Rinpoche's monastery. He saw the first copies of the Kagyu and Tengyur, and he just absorbed them. And he quotes them perfectly, in his books. It's like he's outer space man, Okay, he quotes them like crazy. Okay, so there's the structure of the Kagyu and Tengyur. Now, I'll just say one more thing. If you're looking for something, Chamdande Gyalpo Cup. Okay, I'm looking for the first line of the Heart Sutra in Sanskrit. Okay. Then I need to know the structure of the Kagyu to look. Okay. So what I just taught you, you have to learn. I want to go look in the Kagyu, but to save time, I'm just going to go to the right part of the Kagyu, which happens to be this one. Okay? Mm-hmm. Then I say limit my search to there. Ready? We should hit the Heart Sutra. Okay? Oops, there's another one he taught. Okay, there's 9 books he taught in the same place. Let's go to the next one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Uh-oh.
I think you hit it like 3
Did I?
So too.
Yeah.
Oh, previous match. By the way, this is what I added to go for. Go back. Go back. Okay, I was going too fast.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Maybe it was
Holder of the diamond? I don't think so.
No, that was it. Yeah, next one.
Back or forward?
Forward one. Right.
Heart of the moon? No.
DK Daki.
No, they're all say the Dikadaki Tupatijina. Anyway, you get the point. Now I'm irritated.
Said you found it, nobody would have seen it.
That was it.
Jaga Pungburi. Jagut. Okay. Oh, by the way, if you want to memorize a sutra, I told Jigne, when we catalog this one, I said, Jingmei, you can memorize this one. If you want to say you memorize the whole sutra, because look,
Sutra in one word?
this is called the sutra in one word. Here it is right here. Okay, that's the whole sutra. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, you memorize this. You know, somebody asked the Buddha, can you describe all Buddhism in a single letter? And he said, ahu, right? Speech.
Mm-hmm.
It's the mantra of speech. It stays here. Okay. He said, So I told Jingmei can tell everybody she memorized the sutra. Okay. All right, so we'll continue tomorrow with the Sumbum categories. You have to know it to know where to search. Okay.